What's up guys, Laidback Gaming here, bringing you the 4th episode of my Halo 4 Forge tutorial series. In this episode I'm going to be showing you how to make a banked wave. In the first episode I showed you how to make a hill, the second I showed you how to make just a simple banked turn, and the third I showed you how to make this pretty cool bank spiral, which a lot of people actually tend to use in maps, and I think it's a really cool part of double wide maps and something that's almost kind of normal, and I guess not necessarily required, but kind of expected in all of double wide maps now, is to have a banked spirals of somewhat. But we'll go ahead and make a banked wave. Now, there's many ways you can make a banked wave. I guess I should probably turn notification off. Anyway, there's many different ways you can make a banked wave. If I wanted to, I could come up and make a turn. Basically, I'll go ahead and explain it. Basically, what a banked wave is a turn. It's a turn that's kind of going down at the same time. So in a way, it's kind of like a hill that's turning. So for example, if I went up and then kind of was coming down while I was turning over here. Now I could do that, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to do something just a bit different. Since there's not too much space in between these two pieces here, it would be really hard and really tough to cut that much of an angle right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to raise it up. I'm going to raise it up and make it go down this side. So basically, it'll kind of come up. It'll come up right here, and then it'll turn down and should finish somewhere over in this area. Now, you can use any piece for banked waves, but my personal favorite is I really enjoy using wall doubles. Now, you don't have to use wall doubles. You can use whatever you want. You can use the ramp larges. You can use a block 2x4. It's really just all preference. So it's just whatever you want to use. Now, obviously, I can't use a ramp right now because otherwise I'd run into the track. I'm already pretty close to the track itself. So we'll go ahead and use a wall double wide. And here, let me just go ahead and make notifications off real fast. But here we go. Hold up, sorry about that, guys. There we go. All right. So, the hardest part with what I'm doing now is that it's always frustrating when you're merging two different objects together. I don't know. It comes easier to some other people, obviously, but for me, I hate merging two different objects just because they just look different, and with the same object, it's easy to be able to line them up and everything, and when you have two different objects, it's I don't know, it's just a little bit harder. So we'll raise it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that should be good. Obviously, it's a little bit thinner than this piece, so that kind of stinks because it kind of makes it look a little bit odd. And okay, that should be good. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to slowly raise it up, just like I would for like a hill. And I can go ahead and start turning it just a tad. I'm not really going to turn it that much. I'm going to do most of the turning when I start to really come down on this turn. So for the most part, I'm going to just kind of stick to just going up. And you don't want to go up too high, too fast. Maybe like right there should be good. And we'll check both sides. It's something I always do. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I always make sure that I check both sides just so you can make sure that it's even. And when you're going up, when you're making a track go up, usually it'll always be really smooth. You're not going to have problems with the back of the end of the piece sticking up out of the other piece. So for the most part, you don't really have to worry about that. And it's usually pretty straightforward and smooth and everything. But if you haven't been watching my tutorials, I suggest going back well, if you don't know too much about forging and you haven't watched my tutorials, I suggest maybe going back and watching a few of them so you can see how how I made some of this other stuff. Now, this definitely isn't the best that I could do. I could do a lot better, but I'm trying to really kind of make this a fast process and go through this really quickly so I don't have to bore you guys with a 45-minute to an hour commentary. But usually I would make this turn a lot nicer, as well as the hill. The hill really isn't that nice either, and it's kind of a smaller hill. You can make much larger hills if you would like. But yeah, again, it's especially well, I guess I should go ahead and mention, if you're making a banked wave and you want it to turn, it's just the exact same thing. Basically, you would just be kind of raise it slowly and then turn it, and you'd still not necessarily raise it a ton, but then whenever you peaked, you would start going down. So maybe this is a bad example over here for a banked wave, but you would probably start going down like maybe right after this block, switching blocks. But that's another thing I need to say. When you're making a banked wave, you can't turn it this hard. If you turn it this hard, it's gonna be awful, because you're gonna make it go down, and then the back of this piece, this part right here, is gonna be just sticking up, and it'll be a huge bump. And I'll show you more about what I mean about that whenever we get to actually making the the turn for this map. So I'm hoping this video isn't going to be too long, but to be completely honest with you, this is probably going to be the longest video, because for me at least, making banked waves for whatever reason is the most challenging out of making anything else. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe it's just because I love being really, I want to be really patient and make sure I get it right. So that's probably why. And obviously, you don't have to be as patient as I am. I'm super, I guess, perfectionist a little bit. So I always just want it to be perfect, even though sometimes it actually pretty much is perfect. I just want it to look better, I guess. So for example, like this looks completely fine and it's smooth, but I want it to look better when it merges in. So usually I'll do that so it looks better. I'll make it go up a little bit and make sure the sides are good, just so it looks better merged together. And obviously, you don't have to take the time to do that. That's just something that I like to do because I just like my maps to look a little bit better and just really well made, I guess, and just kind of show that I spent a lot of time on them. And if you haven't already found out, I don't use edit coordinates or magnets or anything like that. Obviously, duplication and all that stuff is completely fine, but I don't necessarily enjoy. It's not that I look down on people that use edit coordinates and magnets and stuff, but I just kind of think it takes all the skill out of forging. I was forging back in Halo 3 when there was none of that stuff. I mean, literally, you had to start a new round and then save and end the game just to put a block on just to merge one object. So I've kind of, I guess, came from where you didn't have any of this awesome all this awesome stuff that you do now. And so anyway, so now I'm getting close to the point to where I'll start actually making it go down a little bit. So at this point, what I always like to do for any type of turn or any hill type thing, I always like to put one piece before I start going up or down that's at the same angle as the previous piece, just because I think it makes it look a little bit better. Sometimes when you have one piece that's going up and then all of a sudden you have another piece that's going at a different angle, it can look kind of sloppy and just doesn't look right. It just kind of looks like it doesn't belong there. So that's what I like to do. I like to put one piece at the exact same angle. And okay, so we'll go ahead and start turning this track down a little bit. I'll go ahead and what I do is I like to line it up. And you don't want to, again, with banked waves, you don't want to turn it too much. I mean, you can turn it a lot if you want, but for this tutorial, I'm not going to turn it too much. So I've got it turned, and what I'm going to do is just a little bit, not much. I'm just going to kind of put it down just a tad bit, and you can see where it's a little bit lower. And first thing is we'll move it out and see if we can even it out that way. And you see this is what happens when you have pieces that are going down, especially in a banked wave. It's the most annoying thing in the world, is that you can't have it perfectly smooth. So if you're trying to go down really quickly, this part right here, you see the little yellow part in the or the end of this piece that I'm holding on that's into the other piece. That the more you go down, the more that sticks up. So the further you go down, the more risk there is of having a bigger bump. So that's the only thing with banked waves that can be really annoying. And I always like to test it after I put it down. There's always going to be a slight bump, but if there's only a really small bump that you hardly notice, that's really good, because while you're racing, you won't really notice racing on that bump because you're going to be going too fast, and you just won't be able to notice it. If you really pay attention, you'll be able to notice it, but with any banked wave, unless it's going down just extremely slow, with any banked wave, you will be able to notice a slight bump. You might not think you can, but if you go back and race any other banked wave, you have, unless it's going down really slow, if it's going down at a decent amount each new block, then I guarantee you, if you look close enough, there will be a bump. There's always, you can't make these types of turns perfect, because you're going to have the back piece sticking up a little bit. And you can see an example. This is what I mean. You can kind of see it just barely, just a little bit sticking up. It's not that bad, but you can definitely see it sticking up. So I checked this in. That looks good. And this in probably won't be perfect, but it actually looks pretty good. So we'll check it. And you see there's just a slight bump. I'll go over that again. Just a very slight bump, but that's good. And that allows you to know that even when you're racing on it, it won't be that big of a bump, and people won't be able to really notice that. And if you would like, what I always do, I probably put 5 or 6 blocks into a turn like this, and then I'll check it with a mongoose. I'll race it with a mongoose and see how it feels or whatever. That's what I usually do. So I'll probably put a couple more blocks, and then I'll race it and see how it looks and see how it feels, if it's smooth or not. And so basically, you're just going to keep you're going to keep, this is a really slow process, and that's why it's for me at least, it's the longest. Some people can do this extremely fast. Some people are, are just, it just comes to them. They're just a really fast forger. But I'm making mine to go down really slow, as you can tell. You can tell it's not going down that slow. So I guess for the sake of this tutorial, I will probably speed it up a little bit. Let's see, we're at 10 minutes, so I probably will make it go down just a little bit faster, just so I can finish the turn without having to bore you guys with a 45-minute video. That's something I definitely don't want to do. So we'll just, again, you're just going to continue to make sure you check both sides. Especially, it's really important with a banked wave to check both sides, because you're going to have this, the back of this piece kind of just a little bit, just a tad sticking up, and you just want to make sure that it's not too big of a bump to where it's going to really interfere with the racing or anything like that. So you'll just keep placing it, and again, like what I always do is I always put my thing on the bottom, and I'll just slowly go across and just see if there's a big bump. And you can't tell there's a bump, but again, if it's a really small bump, it's really too small. It's not big enough to where you could actually see something, I guess. Now, you don't have to do this, but sometimes, just because I don't want to go down at a ridiculous angle with the banked wave, sometimes I'll put one object that's not turning, or that is just very, very slightly turning, to where you can't really notice it, just to make sure, because I don't want to, if you keep turning at a really big angle, sometimes it'll come down and kind of finish like this, and it'll just be kind of weird. So I always try to, every once in a while, I'll try to, at least once in the turn, I'll try to put like one object that's just not really turning that much. And this will be what that one is. And you see, I've made this one go down faster than any of the other objects. So I'll show you that you'll be able to tell there's definitely a little bit more of a bump, and you'll go down and you'll be able to really see it right there. You see where the piece is kind of sticking out a little bit, and you'll go down here and you'll really tell. You can see where you can actually tell that a lot better than others, but it still isn't that big of a bump. So what we'll do is we'll get this mongoose right here, and we'll check it out and test it out. I want to be able to get enough speed, so I'll put it right here. We'll just test it out and see how it is. And for banked waves, you don't have to do this, but I always drive on the inside, because that's always the bumpiest part. So I always drive on the inside and just see how it works. And you see, you're going too fast to really even tell that there's a bump there, which is nice. It's nice because, if you got it going a lot, I guess down faster than it is now, then you'll be able to tell the bumps more. But it definitely is. It's good that you can't really tell a bump, because otherwise it would just kind of make the map look a little bit more sloppy. You can see at this point we're almost to the point where the track itself is starting to go downwards. So place this block, and I always try to get you'll see whatever the outside of the piece is, wherever the outside of the piece is, I always try to get that lined up with the very, very outside of the previous piece. That way you don't only utilize as much track as you can get, but I don't know, for me, I think it looks better. That's just my personal opinion, though. Obviously people are going to have different opinions than me. But I like to do that. I don't like it when there's space in between these. I think it looks really sloppy, and it just kind of looks like the person didn't really spend much time on it, or they just kind of use magnets or something like that. I don't think that looks good, and there's a lot of people that don't like the way that looks, but some people actually enjoy the look of that. So, I mean, I'm not trying to call out people and say that you shouldn't make your map like that. I'm just saying that my personal opinion, I don't necessarily like that kind of look to a track. But anybody can have their own opinions, and if you want to let me know what your opinion is about tracks like that have big gaps on the outside of the pieces or whatever, let me know in the comments. I'm curious how many people, what people's opinions are on that, whether they like it to where it's really kind of merged in well or whatever, and not any gaps where it's kind of connected, or if they like it with gaps. I don't know how people enjoy their racetracks. I'm curious, so leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about that. And we'll try to see. Sometimes this is just kind of that perfectionist part coming out of me. You'll see the piece just doesn't look right. It looks like it's kind of overlapping more than the others. It looks like it's going to be a bigger bump there, and you can see there is a bigger bump. So that's why it's really important for banked waves to make sure that you do have it really smooth. Now this one doesn't go down too far, so instead of, I could make it go up and it would, go into the piece, but because I want it to go down a little bit faster, I'll actually pick it up a little bit, and that way I can take it and go down just a tad, and I'll be able to sort of smoothen it out a little bit. Not too much, but I should be able to smoothen it out enough. So we'll see if I can do that. Let's see. And I'm sorry this one piece is just taking me forever. Usually it doesn't take too long, but I haven't forged in a while, so a little bit rusty, I guess you could say. We'll see. Let's see. That piece, okay, that looks good. You'll come down here, and this is obviously way too low, so we're going to move this up a bit, probably right there. And then this piece is going to go down, so we're going to move it up right there, and we'll move it out a little bit, which will make it go up a tad. We'll check it out. I know it's not perfect, and it's going to be a little bit bumpy. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a bump there. A little bit of a bump there. You know what? I'm going to make it go, well, I'll leave that. I think that'll be okay for now. And that's just kind of what you have to do. Sometimes you'll run into a piece that's just super annoying, and it's just really pissing you off. And sometimes you'll just have to either work with it, sit there and work with it for a while, or just say, you know what, one little bump that nobody can really notice is going to be okay. But for me, if I wasn't making a video right now, I would probably go back and spend a lot of time making sure that one part of the track worked out well. Let's see here. So you can tell that this one's going to have a little bit of a bump as well, because so much of the back of the track is sticking out. You can see the bump a little bit. It's actually not too bad, but you can tell it's there. And you can kind of see where this is, becoming a banked wave, how it's going up. You can see what I mean about it going up, and then you're turning at the same time as it going up. And banked waves are really, really often used, and they're really awesome turns. And there's some people that are just so amazing at them. I think one of my favorite banked waves was actually on a map by Private Parts. I don't know how many people know him as a forger, but he just, on one of his most recent maps, I guess, well, I don't know. It was his map called Inferno, and he had this just amazing banked wave, and it's probably one of my favorite of all time in Halo 4. I don't know. It was so much fun. So if you want to, go download that map. I'll try to put his gamer tag in the description, and you can go check out his file share through that. But like I said, that banked wave is just fantastic. And like I said, there's just some people that are really, really good at making banked waves and can just I don't know, perfect them. And it's amazing to see some of the banked waves people make, because they just can be so much fun to race on, and some of them can look just so cool. So it's definitely something that again, is not necessarily required, but I would say kind of almost expected. And if somebody sees like or wants to see a really good double wide mapper, is saying like, well, a really good, I think most people would say that a really good double wide map would probably have to have a banked wave. It's just something that it's different. It mixes it up a little bit. It just makes the track more fun to race on, and instead of just having your normal bank turn, or even a bank spiral. It's better to have one of these in your double wide map, just because it makes it that more unique, I guess. Not necessarily unique, but it just makes it better, and shows that there's, I guess, more skill that was used while making the track, I guess you could say. So I'm hoping this helps you. So far, I don't know how much it's actually helped you, but I'm hoping that even if it's not me kind of walking you through it and talking to you about it, I just hope that you being able to watch me forge and everything will help you guys out just a little bit. Maybe make you a better forger and understand how to make a turn like this a little bit better. So we're getting pretty far into the video. I don't want to run it too long. We're at like 19 minutes right now. So we'll race this, and I'll probably try to put a few more pieces on. This is going to be a longer video than my other tutorials, and I apologize about that. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, it's harder to make, for me at least, than other videos. And you can see there's a little bit of a bump in there. I think it was that one piece that I decided to leave. That's okay though. And the thing about this video and why it's so long, most people would probably just make a video or a tutorial video and then just kind of speed through it and, kind of either put titles in it or talk to you about it and just kind of speed through it. But I think it really helps people to actually watch somebody making it. I think for me at least, I'm kind of like a visual learner, I guess you could say. So watching something, you could tell me something and I would have absolutely no idea what you were talking about or how to do whatever you had just told me to do, but I could watch it and then I could really probably almost do it right after I just saw it. So that's kind of the I guess type of learner I am, as a visual learner. So I figured that some people might benefit a lot more from watching somebody forge it, even though it is taking me a fairly, I guess a decent amount of time to forge this. I just think that watching somebody forge it will really help people out, and hopefully it will. So I guess we'll see. You can let me know down in the comments if this helps you. I really want to know if this helped people out, because in Halo Reach, apparently my videos really helped out a lot of people. I'm still getting comments today about how my videos helped them out so much, and they really appreciate me making these videos. So I'm really grateful for that. Now this one goes down a little bit further than it probably should. That should be okay, I think. I'm going to erase it really quick just to make sure. You'll be able to see some of these bumps in here. Just watch. I mean, you'll always be able to see bumps in some banked waves. And this isn't the best banked wave I've ever made, but it's a banked wave nonetheless. And I think it'll be good just for you guys to watch it. And you see how that kind of goes down a little bit too quickly, but I think that'll be okay to keep. And we'll go probably, I want to say 4 or 5 more blocks. At this point, I'll probably start maybe evening it out, maybe keeping it. Well, I might go down. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with the rest of this track, because the next part, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with the next tutorial, but then the next part, the next turn or whatever I do is going to be the next part of the tutorial. So I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do yet. So we'll see. And if you have any I guess questions about this, or if you have any suggestions for a possible tutorial, another tutorial that you would like me to do, then leave that in the comments. There's a lot of tutorials that I'm planning on doing, so I might be doing the one that you would like to see. I might not be, so leave it down in the comments, whatever it is. It can be something crazy, but just make sure it's racetracks related, because I suck at Slayer maps and all that stuff, unfortunately. And I also am not that good at aesthetics, but if you have an aesthetic type tutorial you would like to ask me, then please be sure to ask me, because I know a lot of people that are good at aesthetics, and some people that might even be interested in making a tutorial video if I asked them to do it. If I said, hey, can you make this tutorial video, I'll upload it to my channel and everything like that. There might be some people out there that would be willing to do that. And stuff. So anything like that, be sure to just comment down below, and I'll try to check all the comments. And if it's something that I think a lot of people would be interested in, and a lot of people would benefit from, then I'll definitely try to make it happen and try to be able to get a video made for you guys for that tutorial. Now, again, I'm sorry that this video is so long, but if you've watched this entire video, that's like amazing, and you guys are the best. It's crazy to think if if you guys have watched this entire like, I guess it's probably going to be like a 30-minute video. That's just awesome to think about. So I hope you guys actually benefit from this, instead of just watching this video for 30 minutes and not benefiting at all. That would just kind of suck. And I hope I'm not like annoying. I don't know how my voice is like some annoying crappy voice or something. I'm not really sure. I had compliments on my voice for some of the videos I made. People would be like, dude, you got a really good voice. So maybe I have a really good voice, and maybe people just enjoy listening to me talk. I don't really know. So you know what, let's go ahead and race this one more time. But you can see how it's kind of shaping up. It does look pretty good. It's not too that bad of a banked wave, but you can see kind of now that I've made it, kind of what I mean by what a banked wave is. It's a turn it'll go up, and then it'll start going down while turning. It's a really cool thing to have in a racetrack, and it just makes it makes the racing just that more fun, I guess, and different from just racing on a normal little banked turn, or a hill or everything. It just makes it a little bit different feel, and I think it's a lot more fun to race on a banked wave than something else. And you can kind of see where it comes down now, and you can see all the bumps in it. You saw all the bumps in it when I raced it, so it does have its fair share of bumps. So normally I would suggest too, if you're planning on making a banked wave like this, I would definitely suggest possibly just taking your time, really just taking your time, and I guess taking your time and making sure it is really smooth and everything, and that there's not too many bumps in it, because you don't have a lot of bumps, especially in a banked wave, because sometimes if you have a lot of bumps, it can just kind of mess up the racer, and sometimes can flip them and stuff. But that can happen with any turn. But for whatever reason, I have a feeling that it would happen a lot more often with a banked wave if you get a lot of speed and you're going downhill like that. Okay, so I'm not really sure if I want to. I'm going to keep this probably at the same angle. I'm just getting frustrated because I want it to look good merged together. Again, kind of, I guess, my perfectionist side coming out of me. I don't know why I'm always like that, but I guess that's just how it was made. We'll fix that a little bit. Oh, come on. See, this is what annoys me. I don't know why this annoys me, but it annoys me. And see, that shouldn't look, okay, well, that's fine. We'll go with that. Now, at this point, I'll probably keep that just at that. I mean, I'll probably start making it go up for my next turn here in a second. That actually kind of going up, I don't like that. I'm going to make that go down a little bit. Again, I'm not really sure where I want to go with my next tutorial, what exactly I'm wanting to do. I haven't decided yet, but it will carry on from this point. So, I'll have that video up next week, so please be sure to, stay tuned to that. And just, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I hope you subscribe. If you like these videos and you think they help you, then I really hope you guys subscribe and decide to, stay, and follow my channel and watch other videos that I upload and everything. If you're a big Halo fan and you love racetracks and stuff, then I think you'll absolutely love my channel. I upload all kinds of racetrack videos and everything. So again, I definitely recommend you going to subscribe to my channel if you like racetracks and stuff like that. So we'll probably stick to this angle. It's pretty steep, as you can tell. So I'm going to put this one at the same angle. Again, like I said, before I start going up or anything like that, I always want to put one block at the same angle as the previous. And oh my goodness, I'm always just paranoid about the way this looks. How about moving it over there? See, it's just, I don't know why this makes me so mad. Alright, you know what, I'm just going to move it in and say that's good enough. We'll barely make it go up just to make it look better. Right there. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to put one more block and just kind of barely make it go up. Not really enough to really be able to tell a difference. Right there. Okay, and I'll keep that, and I'll probably wait until next week to show you guys the next tutorial. I'm not really sure where I want to go with the next tutorial yet, so anything's really open. It's, this is a 28-minute video now, so it's pretty long, but you can see kind of what, this kind of just gives you an idea of a banked wave. But you don't have to just, for the banked wave, it doesn't have to be something that just starts off going straight and then turns. It can be something that comes up and is already turning and then goes this way. That's kind of just how I wanted to make it. So I hope this helps you guys out a lot. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Leave a comment down below and let me know if this helped you out, if it didn't help you out, and any questions that you might have about this, and I'll be happy to look at all the comments and try to answer your question by replying. And if I can't answer your question by replying, then I'll maybe try to shoot you a personal message and try to solve it that way. But I'll race it one last time, and then I'll let you guys go. And you can see how, you can see a few little bumps, but for the most part, it is, a fairly decent map. Now that right there, I want to race that one more time, because you can see towards the end a little bit kind of gave me a little bump and kicked my mongoose from side to side, and that might be because I made it go down pretty steep. And that's something that you could probably fix just with if that is a problem, you could probably fix it just with like a gravity zone or something like that. Is right here. Well, no, that works actually pretty well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if this helped you, please be sure to comment down below and let me know. Also, like and favorite the video if this helped you. I would love for you guys to help me out and like the video and stuff. And again, guys, thanks so much for watching, and please be sure to subscribe.